Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with that metalstation.com. Today I'm getting to have a chat with Dex Digga from 3 Years Hollow and his latest project, Anew Addiction, which features Morgan Rose on drums, who's been a busy man lately. Dax, cheers for joining me, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
No, absolute pleasure, man. When Shauna sent over the Anew Addiction track and said, check this out through the emails, I was very impressed as well. Killer track, man. And you've also got a fair bit of body of work with 3 Years Hollow. So it is really cool to get to have a chat with you, man. First off, can you tell me a little bit about how this project, Anew Addiction, began?
Yeah. Uh, so I guess over the probably the last 10 years, I've written some arrangements on the bass guitar, um, just using, techniques that I like to play with. And it was never really material that I could use in like 3 Years Hollow or some of the other projects. So I just kind of been stockpiling it. And then I started showing Jose Urquiza, the singer for 3 Years Hollow, who also owns the Attic Studio in Geneseo, Illinois. Um, I started showing him some of these arrangements, and of course, Jose's seen me play a million times, so he knows what I can do, and he was just like, wow. He's like, this is awesome. Let's start recording some of this content, some of these songs, and get some content out there. And that's kind of how it all started. We recorded one tune. Not It wasn't Disaster. It was a different song that will be on the EP. And we tracked bass first. We did sampled drums. And after spending an hour working on the song, we were like, all right, this is pretty cool. We need to get an amazing drummer to come play. And of course, the first person we both thought of, was Morgan. Morgan Rose from Sevendust. I've had a relationship with Morgan since probably 2010. When stuff was starting to pop off for 3 Years Hollow, and he's a guy I enjoy being around, and he just happened to be out at the Attic Studio doing an Instamix clinic. I think it was maybe a week later after we tracked these songs, and we're like, hey man, you want to check this song out, see if maybe you want to play on it. And he listened to it and he's like, hell yeah, I'll play on it. And he tracked. We spent maybe an hour in the drum room and just put some real tasty drums on it. And then him and I just kind of sat in the mixing room and just kind of giggled because it was really, really cool.
It sounded really good. Can you tell me a little bit about Justin? You got Justin on there from Alborn. How did he get involved, Matt?
So yeah, that would be, I guess, after we started tracking drums, or we had laid yeah, we had just one song done, and we're like, we need someone to come in and do some guitars and vocal stuff. And Jose was like, he was really adamant about having Justin come in. He's like, let's get Justin. I think Justin will do a good job. And Justin had actually filled in on some 3 Years Hollow shows, so I already knew him, and I like him. I liked him a lot, so we brought him in, and I didn't have any real expectations as far as what it had to sound like, so that made it fun. I'm like, well, just start playing some stuff, and we'll go with what sounds cool, and that's kind of how the whole thing started.
Yep. That disaster track, man. Tell me a little more about that, because that one, I put that on, dude. And that kind of, I don't know, it just must be the state of mind I'm in, but that hit me right in the feels, man. I really did connect to that track and just had to listen to it like a half a dozen times over and over again, man. Tell me a little bit about that one.
Well, first of all, thank you. I mean, yeah. So that was the second track that we did, and we did that one. I brought that arrangement to the studio, just on bass, and Morgan was there. Him and I kind of worked out a little bridge to it, and then he went into the drum room and started laying drums. And to be honest, it was a little bit, the way what he played was a little bit different than I had visioned it in my mind, but it was really cool, especially like the beginning part of the song, you know, right when it comes in with the hit, the snare hit, the smack, then the ding, ding, ding. It's different there. It's like a polyrhythm. And it was just different. And right away I was like, oh shit, this is going to be really, really cool. And I mean, how could it not be, you know? So, yeah, yeah. So Morgan was in town for 2 days and we worked on, I think we worked on 2 songs. And then Justin was there as well. I'll stay on this, talking about Disaster. Yeah, Justin came in after we had the drums and the bass tracked, and you know, just started putting down some real tasty guitar stuff, and that was and then he started, you know, scribbling down some lyrics and stuff, and he's like, well, check this out. I'm like, okay. I'm like, everybody there was like, this is great, let's do it. So yeah, we tracked vocals, and then again we just sat back and kind of listened to the, you know, to the product, and we're like, oh, this is a really, really neat song. You know, just, I guess, a little different than what you hear out there nowadays.
Yeah, it is. It's a killer song, man. As I said, it hits you right in the feels, and it's got those lyrics and the sound to it is just unreal, man. I'm looking forward to hearing some more from you guys as you go forward. I'm really excited as well. Was 2020 like a bit of a motivation for you to kind of do this project as well? Like sitting around, did you have more time on your hands and you're like, fuck, I'm just going to make the best of this time and work? Because you also got a new single for 3 Years Hollow, which is pretty recent as well. We'll talk about a little bit later too.
Absolutely. I mean, I think anybody involved in music, once, you know, the whole COVID thing hit, if there was going to be something positive that came from it, it was going to be the fact that they had the time to, you know, to just work on new music without any distractions, really. You know, touring and you know, whatever, you know, when things, when everything's up and moving, you know, there's a lot going on. So, yeah, when things slowed down, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't something I was thrilled with in any way. You know, it's not, I just,
Well, it hit a lot hard too because as bands and touring musicians, that's kind of where your bread and butter is, you know what I mean? And most people sit back and think, oh yeah, I can listen to Spotify and I'm supporting a band, but it's like, nah, that's not support. And when these shows end, it kind of killed a whole industry. And it's not just the bands that have this scene going forward and running, you know, there's a lot more to than, oh, we're just on stage, we play. There's a whole industry behind it. You got the lighting engineers, the sound techs, a whole crew behind you as well. And you know, when you play these shows, you have people come up and buy merch, and people don't tend to do that as much through, you know, if there's no live shows. And then the governments all over the world, I've brought this up a lot too, because I know, same here in Australia, most of the governments couldn't give 2 fucks about the arts industry, and it really was hardly any support for any of the artists, any of the industry as well.
very true. You know, I think finally some sort of relief came here. You know, fortunately, I'm involved in other trades where, you know, I do very well financially, and that's kind of how how I fund these projects, because, you know, I'm 100% independently funded. You know, this is all me, the team that I put together. So it's, but again, yeah, I didn't, you know, when COVID hit, the trade, you know, that I work in, I didn't miss a beat. You know, I still go out there and work. I was very fortunate in that regard. But what you were saying about, yeah, the relief, man, you know, I think something finally came. I don't know what the package was, who knows, but I know it came way late, and it was like, yo, there's something for you.
Yeah, same here. It was the same in Australia. It came late, and a lot of it was directed at like the fucking movie and film industry, and a lot of
Oh,
artists missed out. And there was a lot of independent artists who are self-contracting as well. You know what I mean? That missed out and that missed these packages too. So it was really hard to see, and that's probably why I dove in and bought a lot more records, done more interviews than ever through 2020, and tried to support the scene as much as I can. Buy a shit ton of merch, and I noticed in the metal community there was a lot of people doing that too, starting to switch on and going, we got to put the money into the scene as well going forward.
yeah. You know, I I'm not a. It hasn't been, a great time for me this past year with the COVID stuff, but I always make the best of it, and I I absolutely won't let it stop me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just keep pushing forward, man. And I'm just like, all right, well, I guess that's just something else I'll have to work around and find a way to do that. And but it did give me a lot of time to to put this whole project together. So
Yep. Yep. Can we talk about 3 Years Hollow, man? What's going on
yeah.
with there? Tell us about the latest single as well, Among the Waves, and how's everything going there? I think I've seen some tour plans as well.
um so yeah, I mean, 3 Years Hollow, man, that's my family. That's the band that I came up with. um I mean, I guess in the band that changed my life in some regards, because it just opened a lot of doors, not only musically but outside of music even. Just the notoriety from it. So, but yeah, I mean, 3 years, we always we release about a single a year. It seemed like for like 4 years. Maybe not even that much. But here's the thing: we've always got tons of material recorded. Like we've got a whole album worth of material in the vault, you know. And we do have plans to release new music. And yeah, like you said, we'll be doing a 2 week run, like late summer, early fall. Um, and I talked to Jose Urquiza, the singer from 3 Years Hollow, almost on a daily basis. And I don't know what the uh, like big plan is, but I know we do want to release more music more frequently, and we do plan on starting to rehearse and putting a real good live show back together again.
Yeah, it's hard work, and there's a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't realize when they listen to their favorite band. You know what I mean? And that's where I come back to support. If you're only listening to them on Spotify, it makes it hard for bands to make albums and see the need to do it. But if you're getting a ton of support, you're getting a lot of people along to your shows, you're selling a lot of merch, you can at least put into some time in the studio, and it kind of does put a fire in your belly. But 2020 would have been a fucking hard time for any band to kind of get together and make music as well. So at least you had this project to kind of dive in and musically and creatively keep that mind ticking over.
Yeah, I mean, very well put. Yeah, this is the longest I have not. More than anything, I'd say I'm a performer. I like to be on stage. I like to play. I like to be in front of an audience. I do enjoy the studio stuff, but it's not. Uh, I don't think it's what I'm best at. You know, I think I'm really good at just kind of off the cuff type stuff. If we're just jamming or whatever. But I like to play. I like to play with a band on stage and play for the fans.
Yeah, hopefully that all starts opening up soon for you. As I've noticed some shows are going, but it's hard then because you got to lock in, and sometimes things are opening and closing, and that does kind of make it hard with everything else as well to plan going forward.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Cool, Dax. This has been absolute pleasure, man. I'm going to sign out. I want to talk about the EP, but I'm going to wait till you're a bit closer to releasing it. You got some more dates that we can talk about, dude. So I'm going to hold you to a chat later in the year if we can, man.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Anytime,
Or
just get a hold of Shauna or Tom or anybody, and we can make it
awesome.
happen.
Awesome. Dax, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. You have a lovely day, evening. Everyone go check out 3 Years Hollow, the latest single, Among the Waves, A New Addiction. A New Addiction. Get it. Put Disaster in your stereo. Turn it up really bloody loud. Thanks, mate. Any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you want to add in there?
I just want to thank the entire team, that works behind the scenes for me. Sean O'Donnell, Tom Baumgartner, uh, the Attic Studio, Jose Urquiza. Yeah, man, just all the people that make this whole thing work.
Awesome. Legend, man. Hey, legends, how the bloody hell are you going? If you like that interview and you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. Keeps me doing what I'm doing and make you a bloody legend. Ripper. Too right, mate.